All right, folks, it looks like we are live. Glad you are all here. This is episode, I think, 33 or whatever the fuck it is of the Renegade Butcher Show. Thanks for joining in. We've got Kyle Perreault here hanging out in the green room back behind, ready to pop in, and we are going to talk butcher to butcher a little bit more, answer some questions, catch up with him, go through the breakdown process just a little bit more and bullshit. I'm sitting here in my car in a rainy park as usual. Hey, we could use the rain out here, so I'm not complaining. But as you guys know, I did an update episode yesterday. Been working hard on getting that website going. I have it live at the moment at renegadebutcher.com. You can go there and you can see some of the stuff that is ready to roll. Hey, Scrambling, glad to see you over there. Glad you popped in. Appreciate you dropping by. And yeah, so that is live. It is ready to roll. It is going. It's still rough. There's a lot to get added to it. Yeah, I'm not shadow banned yet. There's a lot to get added to it. There is a lot of things I need to tweak out. I'm not even 100% sure that the payment systems are all live. We will be able to pay with Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. We'll have Lightning. I think you could probably subscribe to the seasoning of the month with credit card now. A lot of the products, not all the products are up there. A lot of them are up there, and a lot of them don't have pictures. But it's a start, and we're getting the bones of it ready to go. So check it out if you get a second. I have that next season for freedom short video ready to go. Yes, Brian down there, yes, says thumbs up, bitches. Go. If you are watching, go hit the likes. That helps us out. Appreciate that. And Robin, we're glad you stopped in. Appreciate that too. She made an excellent video the other day of that sugar-free sweet breakfast sausage seasoning. So check it out. Check that out. And I just got done putting that up right before we went live here on the website and embedded that video that she made in the product listing too. So like I said, a little bit rough, still some work to get done. Not sure everything's actually functional yet, but it's up there. There's something there. So, hey, without further ado, I'm going to air that spice video based on your guys' recommendation. I polled the audience, and the predominant next seasoning to do was peppers, not peppercorn, but pepper, the fruit. I'm going to run that here. After that, we're going to come back, bring Kyle on, and yeah, stick around and watch us bullshit. All right, guys, here we go. Back to the Season for Freedom series. And today, we're talking about capsicum peppers, not peppercorns. No, chili peppers, bell peppers, you know the kind. These colorful fruits are native to Central and South America, but they're now grown and used all over the world. Capsicum peppers come in different shapes, sizes, colors, and heat levels. They belong to 5 major species: Capsicum annum, Chinese, frutensis, bassatum, and pubensis. Pardon me if I mispronounced any of those. You can measure how hot a pepper is by using the Scoville scale, which goes from 0 for sweet bell peppers to over 2 million for some of the hottest chili peppers like Carolina Reaper or ghost pepper. The heat of the peppers comes from a chemical called capsaicin, which makes your mouth burn when you eat them. But capsaicin is not only spicy, it's also good for you. It has antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties that may help with arthritis, metabolic syndrome, cancers, infections, and pain. It may also boost your metabolism and appetite control. Capsicum peppers are also rich in other nutrients that support your immune system: skin health, blood clotting, red blood cell formation, bone health, nerve function, eye health, cellular protection. Capsicum peppers can be eaten raw or cooked. They can add color and spice to any dish. You can use them in salads, soups, stews, curries, sauces, pickles, salsas, marinades, dips, or anything you like. You can also dry them and make many different types of pepper spice, such as paprika or cayenne pepper, chili flakes, or smoke them and make chipotle. Some of the most common types of capsicum peppers are bell peppers, which are sweet and mild and crunchy. They come in different colors. They're high in vitamin C and provitamin A. You can also dry these and make paprika. Jalapenos are medium heat, green to red when ripe. They have a fruity flavor. They're usually used fresh or pickled or canned or made into a hot sauce. When smoked, they become chipotle. Now, cayennes are very hot, long and thin. They're red peppers with a sharp flavor. Dried and ground in a cayenne pepper powder, they're widely used as a spice or for medicine even. Poblanos are typically mild to a medium hot. They're green to dark brown. They have a milder flavor. They're used for chiles rellenos or mole sauce or roasted and peeled.
When dried, they become ancho peppers. Of course, there's always the super hots like ghost peppers and all those other fun ones. Wish I had time to cover all the different types of peppers, but maybe that'll be another video. Thanks for watching this edition of Season for Freedom. Hope you enjoyed learning all about peppers and their delicious uses. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, share it with your friends, and tune in next week for even more spice-related content. Let us know what you think I should cover next.
All right, folks, there it is. So, like I said, let us know what spice you want to see next week, and we will air it live on the show. That's already up there live on YouTube. I've got it up on TikTok. I've got it up on Clapper. I don't know how that's going to work out, but I threw it up there. So, hey, check it out. Anyways, hope you all enjoyed. And hey, as old Scramblin' over here said, dun, 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 if you don't cook, buy a Seasoning of the Month Club membership as a gift for your favorite cook. It's a good idea. It really is. I even mentioned that in the Seasoning of the Month Club offering up there. If you do subscribe, and the baseline is going to be $15 a month, and that gets you not only one of the regular offerings shipped to you, but one of the things that you're not going to be able to really buy anywhere else. You can't go to the shop and buy, like the bonfire blend that I was offering and things like that. That's the only way you're going to be able to get them. If you get buried up in spices and you go, I don't need it this month, you could cancel your subscription, or you could send it to a relative. I'm going to have it set up to where you can go into the website basically every month and you will complete your order in the side. So if you want to switch, you want to do a different seasoning next month, a different offering, you do that. You're just going to get a coupon code in your members only email that allows you to go in and basically order the set amount that you subscribe to for free. And you just complete that order. You can put it in a different address, ship it to friends or family. We'll take care of you and we'll make that happen. So anyway, let's get back to the main part of the show. We're going to bring on Kyle Perreault. He needs no introduction. He's been on the show twice, but if you guys have not listened in and you're new to this, he is a small-time custom butcher up in New Hampshire. He runs the Body Shop, Custom Butchery, and Taxidermy. So with that said, hey, Kyle, how you doing?
What's going on?
Hey, I heard you did some bacon.
I did. My first time doing bacon this week.
How'd it turn out?
It was good. I cut up a couple slices tonight and tossed them in the skillet. I'm like, oh, yeah. I didn't get it to full 150 just because it had been going for 8 hours. I didn't want to over smoke it.
Right.
So it got to the bigger ones, which were mine, so I wasn't too worried anyway. Got to about 115. The smaller ones got to about 130. So they came out delicious. So I'm slicing all that. I probably have like 50 pounds of bellies to slice for me and like customers.
It's a good bit.
Yeah. So
you've been stacking them up for a minute.
Yeah. Well, because most of these were processed in October. So I'm like, all right, need to get these to people.
Yep. I don't blame you. Well, hey, you're doing like a wood fire smoke? It's just all like stick burner?
Yeah, pretty much. I got a small wood stove.
Hard mode, so yeah.
No,
controlling temp is tricky, and you got smoke the whole time.
Right. And I because my smokehouse, I actually put it on a snowmobile trailer so I can like move it around the property.
Right.
But it's 5 by 7 and probably like 8 foot at the peak.
Huge.
So it's huge.
It's a lot of smoke to heat too.
And I had
especially
like
when it's cold as shit out there.
Yeah. And I had a very small wood stove in there heating it. So by the time like it was halfway through, full of coals, I'm like, got to pull half that out, get it going again. So it was a learning process. It was a learning curve, but
so
we'll get
there. An external like smoke generator, or do you put a wood fired cook inside the?
No, so I have a small wood stove off the back with a stove pipe that goes right in
for your cold smoke.
Right. Okay. So again, learning process. Definitely need a bigger wood stove for that.
You might try
warmer.
You might try doing your cold smoke with your smoke generation for like maybe about 2 hours or so.
Okay.
The beginning of it, and then after you fire that up, since you knew it took longer and you probably need the box a little bit hotter, like bring the box temp up to about 225.
Right.
Get you done faster. Maybe try something like a charcoal grill. get some good clean lump charcoal and get that fired.
That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea either.
That'd be what I would try. See, what I like to do, I use a propane fired heat. I do the smoke tubes, so I can control the amount of smoke, but it's basically the same thing. But when I'm actually heating it, I'm running that propane burner and I'm watching that box temp, and I will usually start a little lower, around like 180 air temp, and I'll bring it up to about 220, 225, maybe 230 if I'm impatient. But experience has taught me over multiple mistakes that that's a great way to set your smoker on fire. And if you go too hot.
Exactly.
And once you get to a certain point, you get a little bit too hot, and then you get really, really, really too hot. And that's not only putting the fire out, that's throwing out everything that you just fucked up if you didn't burn the whole place down. So,
yeah, it's all a learning process.
It is a learning process. But the nice thing about bacon, like you said, is even if you didn't get it up to temp and you're slicing it, you're still pan frying it. So, unless you're one of those people that likes to eat rubbery, chewy bacon cold, you're probably fine.
Right. And I can tell the difference. It breaks apart a little bit different, like definitely low and slow cook. But I'm like, it's still delicious. Like,
oh yeah,
it's perfect.
Little scrambling here says, so you're creating a low oven at the end. Basically, yeah. And if you wanted to, you could pull those bellies out and you could finish them in the oven. The main thing is once you've got the smoke generation, meat when it's smoking generally doesn't absorb the smoke flavor except for when it's colder. Once you reach over about 120 internal temp, you can throw all the smoke you want at it and it'll color the outside, but it doesn't really add flavor. It doesn't absorb into the meat. So at that point, you're just bringing it up to a food safe temp. If you go to like 145 internal, which is what you recommend for like bacon, hams, and stuff like that, that makes it fully cooked. So you could eat it raw. You know, you go much farther than that, and you don't want to go too long because you don't want to render all the fat out of it and leave it chewy and kind of crappy. So, which is why you pulled it, and that's what I would have done too if I was in your position. So, but yeah, you could totally pull it out and just finish it in the oven. And I think at one point, Nate and Aaron from Two Chicks Homestead, they're always in the channels. They started doing their own at home, and they've done similar before. I think they were doing it all on the barbecue grill. If I recall, one time they just pulled it out and put it in the oven. Because it got to the point it was in there a while, and then all of a sudden it was like bedtime's approaching for the kids, and I'm like, I'm not gonna be out here to tend it, and I'm not tearing all this down in the dark. So Oh, so you start with colder meat for a smoke flavor. Yeah, you do. That's why you always see stuff that is cold smoked. You can actually, if you have the temperature, you could do it up there in New Hampshire. I have a hard time down here doing it. But if the outside temperature is cold, like freezing or refrigerator temperature, if your smoke generation is far enough away that you're not actually generating heat inside the box, the air temp in there stays cold, you can make something smoky as shit.
And I'll be honest, that was my main
pour it in there. That's how they smoke cheese. Yeah. That's why you go to Wisconsin and smoked cheese is a thing, and you don't get smoked cheese in Texas. Well, because 90% of the fucking year, your cheese is going to melt if you leave it outside, even if you don't apply heat to it.
Right.
So, let's see here. Yeah, like fridge temp versus room temp, or it really depends. You want colder, like I said, that it absorbs smoke up to about 100 to 120 internal temp, roughly. That's what I was told by an old butcher down here, and that rule of thumb seems to work pretty well. And he loves smoke flavor. Yes, but I have overdone it. You can overdo it.
That's what I was worried about.
One thing I really like about the smoke tubes, like the chip tubes that I do, is I know I put the same amount in every time. It burns for the same amount every time, and I get the same amount of smoke for the box I'm cooking it in for every time. Now, I'm upgrading the smokehouse, so I go to a bigger smokehouse. I may need to get a second chip tube. We'll see. I'll experiment and find out. But you find what works for you. Every smoker is going to be different, depending on your climate, size of the box, how you fire it, what you're putting into it, how much you dick with it,
Right. I'm such a stubborn asshole. That's like the same reason I haven't bought like one of those Traegers or like a pellet stove, because I'm like, I'm not going to do that. Like, that defeats the purpose to me. I'm like, no, I'm not playing this game.
Yeah, I don't want to dick with the Traegers and all that shit like that. But I have found, because I'm doing so much sausage during deer season on a commercial level, I need to.
Exactly.
People come back. I've got customers that it's their third year coming back to me, and they kind of want to know that the shit that I give them tastes the same as last year because they really liked it.
Right.
There's a reason they came, and they want to pay me $300-400 for a deer. They want to get sausage you're going to enjoy throughout the year. So to be consistent with it, that's been the best method for me to do it. And it's cheap too. You know,
Right.
I get one of those little smoke tube boxes. I think I posted a link before. I should put it in the show notes at some point here. But anyway, I put one of those. I fill it up. I get a bag of freaking smoke, basically smoke pellets. That's the blend I really like. And I think a bag of that will run me for, I mean, I could be smoking every day for like a month, and I probably won't run that bag out. It's like a 50-pound bag for 14
Yeah,
bucks.
that's perfect.
It's dirt fucking cheap, you know. I spend way more on propane than I do on smoke. And,
right. This was gonna be a test run for me of whether or not I was gonna add it as a value added thing.
And if you've got property, so you've got oaks and shit like that are constantly coming down. You've got access to that. Stick burners are great. It's just that is so much more of an art, you know, and it can vary. So,
well, I've got a 100-something-year-old apple tree that split this winter, so she's going in there.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
And
no, always get that
I'll
fall wood. You know that those down branches and limbs and stuff. Save that shit because fruit wood is gold.
Absolutely. No, I'd love to learn to do it better and more effective. And
when
I can breathe for a minute, it might be a value-added product. But for right now, it's like, oh yeah, this is going to be for family and friends only. Like, I don't have the time.
You've got to go through that learning process.
Oh, exactly.
For sure. And every time I end up having to change something up with a smoker, I have to do it again. You know, I'll have something fuck up and I have to fix it, or I have to work on something. All the variables have changed. So it's like, all right, time for me to make batches of shit for me.
We'll see.
You know? Yeah. We're going to smoke a turkey and we're going to see how this works out. You know, that kind of shit.
Right.
So, yeah. Fun. And when you're dealing with a big box like that, man, I tell you what, that's hard. You don't have as much room to maneuver. You can't change your temp quickly. You know? No.
And just the little things, like I forgot I couldn't breathe in there. Like I stood up to do something and I'm like,
yeah. Canadian Farmstead here. He says that he had to finish his bacon in the oven. But that's the other thing too. You guys are dealing with it's so cold outside. It's hard to get a hot smoke temp. It's hard to get that box warm enough.
A high of 46 yesterday. I was walking around in a t-shirt. It was amazing. But
yeah. Well, I bet. Yeah, down here it's been. I mean, we actually had a little bit of a cold snap. It's been in like the 40s and 50s, and we're all a bunch of pussies. But it's basically fucking summer here. You know, at this point,
it's crazy. So. No, we've had so much snow melt. It's been so nice. But everything is just mud. Everything I've been driving over this winter is just a mud pit.
Well, you're almost to the point where you can see dirt and you can start sticking seeds in if you do your garden and shit, you know.
Right. I've got to do a bulk order of fencing materials this next coming week. I'm not looking forward to it. I'm doing in probably, my goal is 6 acres over 3 different paddocks.
I don't know what's worse
before
putting
June.
fencing. Yeah, I don't know what's worse, putting fencing in or paying for it. Like the
I think they're
materials
both bad, 'cause I'm doing both. Yeah,
exactly. Buying it hurts, and then putting it in hurts.
Right. I don't know. I'm different. Fencing might be one of my favorite chores and tasks on the farm. It's my absolute favorite.
You want to take a trip to Texas? I've got some.
I don't because I have enough.
You want to come down here and do some fencing for me?
It might just be that now I'm a dad, and I joke that all of my former alcoholic tendencies just went straight into farming. But it's like, when I have projects like that and I just get to put headphones in and not be yelled at and just go and build fence for 2 hours. Oh, it's perfect.
Yep. Oh, I should be careful about saying that too. You don't want to come do fencing for me because you'll do something retarded like build me a pen and be like, okay, this is where you hold shit that you buy from me.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I'm not buying you a camel. I am not picking up a camel for you. Sorry.
I still wanted that. What was it? It was half Highland, quarter Wagyu, quarter Buffalo.
Cool yeah, the half Highland. That's what gets me.
Yeah,
I've seen
Highland more than the Buffalo for some reason.
I've seen a lot of really, really cool Longhorn with Watusi crosses. I have never seen a Highland thrown in there with bison. That's new to me. That was because I tease myself. I'm on all the Texas exotic sites, like auction sites. We have a shit.
I'm just sitting up here in the middle of winter, just going, I could buy that giraffe. That'd be awesome. Scrolling through, and that was the first time I was like, I know someone in Texas now. I need to know how much this is.
I don't have a truck or a trailer. I know people who do, but I don't have anywhere to put your shit, Kyle.
Whatever. I'll fix that.
It's gonna be at 3 a.m. He's gonna call me up, dude. I got a line on an ostrich, and I really need a favor. You know?
Oh, I've got ostriches up here. Technically, I have camels up here too. But it'd be funny just to be like, I need you to go pick up this camel in Waco.
No, yeah, I don't know. I've never had to really seriously interact with a camel, but from what I've heard, I don't think I want to.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Well, anyway, hey, we oh my god, old scrambling out here. Get a liger. No, all right there, Tiger King.
My buddy wants me to get a tiger so bad. He's like, it's
God.
Perfect. You
Can
get rid of all your waste.
Is that legal up there? I know it is down here. I
don't think tigers are.
There might be a permit process for certain things. I'm not 100% sure, but I think legally I can just go get a tiger right now.
Oh, you can. You can. I'm very jealous.
No, I'm just saying. Not that I'm saying I really give a fuck. I'd go get a tiger if I wanted one, but last thing I need is to have to feed a tiger because now I got to get to feed it. You know.
Well, that was one of his arguments. He's like, you can get rid of all of your organs and all that stuff. I was like, all right. Nice speaking my language.
But that tiger's going to eat a lot, and he's going to eat all the shit that I want to eat too.
No, yeah, no. Really I want to buy this. I want to buy the stuff that's weird and crazy that I don't have a chance to eat, and then I can cut it up myself and be like, oh, look at that.
Right. We're having tiger steaks tonight.
No.
Oh shit.
Yes.
It's just, they eat wild pigs, right? Well, they would eat wild pigs, but I'm not going to let a tiger run around and hunt wild pigs.
Yeah, that kind of seems like one of those.
Well, hey, we were probably going to be a rough situation. I'm probably going to end up in jail because they let my tiger out and it killed all the neighbors, you know. So.
Right.
Or their dogs, or their livestock, or my shit, you know.
Right.
Anyway, we get off on these random tangents, but hey, we came here to talk about catch up. Where the last couple episodes we've been talking about things that when you're processing at home, how to get there, how to deal with it, considerations and shit like that. And I think we kind of ended the last time you were here with, hey, how to get it up on the hook, how to hang it, how to start skinning it. Now, what the fuck do you do? You know, so
right.
How do you approach the breakdown process once you've got to hang it up there on the tractor? You got to hang it up on that tractor bucket. What do you do?
Is it already gutted? I forget if we got there.
I can't remember, but we can gloss back over that quick. We can give the quick and dirty.
Right.
I think we covered skin and gutting, but
yeah. So I'll start at getting it on the from where it's already on the cooler or on the tractor. Sorry. I have the cradle, so it's a little bit nicer, and I'm able to skin all the way down to basically middle of the back, both back legs, front legs, and down to the neck is all already spun out. I know you don't split the chest bone.
We did talk about that last time. Yeah, we started working on before the gutting process. I don't usually bother because I'm not starting in the cradle, so it's
it's not worth it.
Right.
You don't want it spilling over on you or something.
Yeah, and it's just you got it laying on its back, and it's kind of already teetering there. You're trying to rig it back up.
Yeah, exactly.
Extra step, and for me, it's not really a net time savings or effort or whatnot. If I was doing it in the cradle, I can definitely see the advantages.
Right. So I split the chest bone and start the gutting incisions a little bit already, and then I'll go through. Take the esophagus out,
trachea, prepping all that stuff.
Take the tongue out.
Yep.
But what I've been doing lately, which I really like, is I'll completely open up the chest plate, put something in there, and go in and get everything cut out and loose. Like I saw that beforehand.
Picture you posted. You used a grinder through as a spreader bar.
I have something in development that's going to replace that, but for right now, it works perfect.
Right? What you have laying around.
But what's nice is, because I work solo on all my stuff, is I get everything just loose and open in there.
Right.
And that way, once I do hang it, I start all the gutting incisions, and literally as it lifts, everything just falls right out.
Gravity do the work for you.
Exactly. But then I'll get it hooked up to the tractor, lift the back legs off the cradle, and that way I have easy access to finish skinning the back legs and start taking out the butt and all that stuff, getting everything all situated with that. I don't know if you tie off stuff, but I'll tie off both the esophagus and
Right.
the asshole.
I usually depends on what I'm doing. When I was
Right.
doing a lot of the inspected stuff, I would do tie off, but I've done it enough without tying off anymore. 90% of the time, I don't bother with it because I know how to avoid having the issue because I've done it so many dang times. It's not usually worth taking the time to do it. The easiest thing that I've found, though, if you just you are worried about it or you think this one might be a little bit hairy, I don't tie off the esophagus if I'm splitting the ribs because I already know it's going down. Not really something I'm going to have an issue with. Now, if you're dealing with it on the cradle, you are worried about it. That neck is still somewhat up, so you're going to have that spill out onto the neck meat. So I do see that.
Oh yeah.
But a backpack bag and a zip tie is the best thing ever. Just slide it over, zip tie it on.
Exactly.
Same with the bung.
No, so
the bung you can actually just zip tie the bung without the bag.
That's what I usually do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for me, it's just easier because I don't have to worry about it. Again, the running solo stuff, like it's like if I can just make sure that none of the extra stuff is going to happen and this just goes smooth, we'll just take a second and do it.
You make those mistakes and then you learn all the things that you can do to avoid those, and you realize how much it sucked to have to clean that up. So
it's easier just to do it.
You take the extra 30 seconds to avoid having to take the extra 30 minutes,
Right. Yeah. So I'll loosen all that up, tie off, push back in and kind of just work everything around, loosen everything there. Then I've also started splitting the pelvis while it's still down and finish the gutting incision. So that way, as I lift, the guts just slowly start moving down. Usually the liver stays in. And I'll also split the hanger in the skirt, the diaphragm.
I do that too.
The esophagus can go straight through.
Right. I'm so glad you said hanger, that you saved the hanger, because I've worked with a lot of butchers that don't even know what that is, and it ends up in the gut pile.
Yeah.
I actually threw, I don't even know how many away. It hurts my soul to even think about. Before I knew, I had to go and find it myself. Somebody asked me, "You ever found the hanger steak?" And I'm like, let me go research it. And oh my God, I've been throwing away the best cut of the animal the whole time because I was taught by an idiot,
I'll save it. It's not, nobody knows up here. And if it's for customers that it's like, I know they're going to eat it and like get it, I'll save it. But for the average Joe Schmo, it's like, I'll bring it up. They have no idea what I'm talking about. I'm like, all right, I'll just grind it.
That would be
but again, it's another 2
much
pounds
more appreciated in my frying pan.
Right, exactly. But yeah, so at this point, now I have it fully hanging. And I think we talked about how I do my tails now.
Yeah, so a little bit in the Telegram group, I think. I don't think we covered it on the show.
Oh, okay. So when I'm skinning out the tail, usually what I'll do is I'll skin the lower back. So I can get all the way through and do one strip down the tail. So it exposes everything.
Right.
So I've been keeping the hide attached there while I finish the skinning process. Okay. And it's made my life so much easier and cleaner because it's not my way.
You use the weight of the hide to pull that.
Well, but it's the rest of the hide isn't all underfoot and I'm walking around it or doing whatever. Yep. I'm just able to push back on it, get it tight, and just move down until I get to the neck. And then I'll just take the whole thing and just pull the tail right out. There's no screwing around with the knife. Oh, it's
and you're doing it all in the cradle too. So when it falls, it's all over. I mean, it's like a blanket of death just right there in your way. So
exactly.
If I've got it hang, because most of the time when I'm doing my skinning, I've got it hanging from the get-go. So the hide kind of just goes straight down. I'll skin out basically around the sirloin and the pelvis. Once I get that freed up, then I'll work the tail free. But yeah, it totally makes sense from a cradle standpoint.
Yeah.
Was it you that was talking about the thing with the two dowel rods? Maybe it was on the show last week, or round stock or whatnot, getting a hold of the hide on the tail to pull it?
No, but I have done that.
Okay. Somebody was talking about that, and I can't remember who it was now, but it was, I'm like, well, that's a good tip. I've never tried it. I guess I've never really felt like I've needed to, but I have to take a shot now.
I haven't done it with like beef or anything like that, but I've done it like taking coyote tails off and stuff like that. Like for that, I think of that more for like a fur bearing situation because it's smaller. Like
it's harder to get that off there without actually just mutilating it.
Exactly. Like I think you can like tails are easy enough at this point. Like obviously for us at this point they're easy enough, but it's like
they're a bitch your first time or two, but yeah.
Oh my God, they're awful. They're absolutely awful. I've thrown out so many because I'm like, I don't even want that as evidence. Like,
it's in demand down here. I mean, we got a bunch of cages. They all want tail.
Yeah. No, I love tail.
They know somebody that does. If they don't want to eat it, they know somebody that wants it. So
yeah. Honestly, I think I will never do oxtail in the crock pot again. I do it a lot, and it always turns out because it's greasy. It's a very greasy.
It can be.
In the end, and
there's a lot of fat to it. Yeah, for sure.
Well, yeah, and I think you need more of a convection cook when you do something like that.
Really well. If you're looking at how greasy it is, and that's an issue, I think you need to maybe not braise it fully in that. Have it up on like a trivet and have water in the bottom below that, so that grease drips away from it.
Yeah,
so you're basically steam cooking it at that point if you're going to do it.
Because I've done it in a crock pot or a Dutch oven on the wood stove.
Okay.
And it comes out fantastic every time. And every time I do it in the crock pot, you're just sitting there going, because it's just like, it's so greasy that it's like, it's not even worth it.
Yeah. I can see that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, but I do love some oxtail.
If it's delicious.
I've heard, and I've not tried it, I've heard pressure cooked is really good.
I've heard that too.
I did one smoked one time. That was really good.
I did that too. Actually, I did it. That one came out really nice. I made French onion soup with smoked oxtail.
Ooh.
Smoked it for like 4 hours and then tossed it in the Dutch oven on the wood stove with all the onions and seasoning and everything. And like just let it low and slow for the rest of the day. Came out amazing.
Oh, hey, let me change your life here. With your Dutch oven, when you want to do shit like that and you're running your smoker, smoke your stuff, put it in your Dutch oven, and then put your Dutch oven on your heat source while it's in the smoker and cook while you're smoking.
Oh,
yeah,
that's genius.
You know how much I do? Dude, I will cook a 30-pound batch of fucking boudin while I am smoking sausage. Because you always want a diverter over that heat source. You don't have direct heat straight up, so I'll have like an inverted, like aluminum pan or something like that, just so it diffuses the heat throughout the box and it's not baking stuff in the center. But if you have a big pot full of something and you put it right over there, it's the same thing, and you're using that heat for something else. And it's a heat battery inside the smoker, so it regulates that heat a little bit longer too, because you've got a big block of water or whatnot there, and in cast iron. So yeah, that's fun.
I'm mad at myself. I'm mad at myself that I didn't think of that.
We'll forgive you. It was your first time. So, you know,
I'm never doing this again.
I don't do it every time, but when I do have stuff like that doing, and you know, like I said, I'll use that propane burner. So I've been known to, I've got something in there smoking, and I'll just let me move that out of the way. It's time to sear a steak right there above it, above that flame, while I'm doing some other shit. So yeah,
perfect.
Get creative with it. I probably cook way more when I'm doing shit at the shop than I do at home. I guarantee you. I cook way better for sure.
I think it's almost a prior, like every good butcher I've ever worked with is a creative person. Like,
if they aren't,
they figure it out. Like they figure out ways to do things. Same with little farmers. Like you got to be creative to figure out what you're doing, because there's probably not like a tool or something for what you're doing. And if it is, it's wildly overpriced.
Probably more than likely, it's extremely overpriced. Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a tool out there for everything. I think it was maybe it was Hunter was in the Telegram group the other day, and he had some random little tool that he found that it was a chicken lung remover, and he's like, "Is that even a thing? Does anybody need a tool to remove lungs from chicken?" Apparently, because somebody has a hard enough time, they made a tool for it, and somebody will pay $25 for something from fucking Ultrasource or whatnot.
You just need to not cut your fingernails like for a week before you process chickens. So just scoop that right out.
See, for me, I'm just like, dude, if I'm going to part that fucking chicken out already, I'll just split the breastbone right now if I'm having a hard time. Damn, you know, it's not that hard. Take shears.
Right.
There you go. Everything comes out. But
anyway, like I'm using that auger. Like I'm using that auger to hold open the thing. I know there are chest spreaders.
Oh, there are.
It's like, I don't need that. I literally have a piece of stainless round stock that I'm just going to cut down, put two ends on, and pop, done.
Yeah. Well, it's just like did you get your cradle made, or did you make it, or did you go buy one?
One of my customers made it.
Right. You know,
Like,
you made it work.
Same with my spreader bar.
Yeah, exactly. You got to be able to improvise, you know.
Exactly.
Especially for this audience, people are trying to figure out how to do it at home. You don't have to go buy all the fancy expensive shit. You just need to know what the process is and figure out how to do it. I do all my beef splitting with a reciprocating saw. You know, I don't have a well saw. What I love, do I love the cost of the fucking blades and how much it costs when those things break, and they break all the time? No. Buy a $2,000 saw, it costs you $800 to get the damn thing fixed. Blades and the fucking bars, which you got to replace. I mean, that's a couple $100 investment every damn time.
Those are great. Yeah,
they're great, but you dole a blade every fucking fifth cow.
It's crazy.
Really, really expensive.
Yeah, I mean, I'm super happy with. I've got a Milwaukee Sawzall cordless, and it's fantastic.
I've got a Harbor Freight that I went out and bought. I had an old Makita that I had for years, and it became the dedicated splitting saw, and I finally killed it. I mean, after probably owning it for 10 years of doing construction shit, I cleaned it up and I put it to uses for butcher shit, and I finally killed it. So I went, I was going to buy a nice one. I was shopping for what do I want to get. I was looking at all these models, and I was like, fuck, I just need something now. So I went to Harbor Freight, bought a $60, like 12 amp reciprocating saw, and I get up there, and the girl goes, do you want to buy the warranty? And I was like, warranty? How much is it? She's like, $12. And I'm like, what's it cover? She goes, well, it's a lifetime warranty, and whatever, it covers everything. I'm like, what is everything? Because you realize I'm probably going to take a blade off of this thing, put it in a bucket of water and run it for a minute to clean the shit out of it.
Mm-hmm.
She goes, you could take this and throw it off of a fucking bridge into a lake, and as long as we have your phone number in the system and you come back, she goes, you could buy two of them and bring the other one back. It doesn't matter. We're either going to replace it with that model or the equivalent model if it's 5 years from now. And I said,
that's awesome.
I said, I will take it, and you'll see me again. I already know you'll see me again.
Oh, for sure.
The thing is, now in 3 years, I still haven't managed to break the fucker.
That's
I'm
awesome.
kind of disappointed, you know. $72 on a fucking saw. How much have I gotten out of that damn thing? And if I do break it, I've got a lifetime saw. So I'm like, you know, sometimes you need to buy cheap shit.
No, absolutely. And that's the hard thing. It's like, I don't even remember what we were talking about. I was talking to my wife about it. I think it was pressure washers or something when I was doing the taxidermy a lot more.
Yeah.
And it's like, we need to buy a new one. I haven't done it in a while, but it's like, we still need to buy a new one. They're like, I don't think it's supposed to break like that, because I was going through a pressure washer a year. And it's like, people aren't using, like, I'm using this for a separate purpose than what it's really used for.
Right.
Like, no one's using this as much.
Pressure washer aren't running either a pressure washer business, or they're using it multiple times all day, every day. You know?
Right. So,
it happens.
But yeah, exactly.
So anyway, we got it up, we got it hung. Let's say we got the thing skinned.
Yep.
It's done. It's ready to go. Now, how do you break it down from that point? How do you start breaking down beef to get hung in the cooler?
So I break mine down either in 6 or 8s, just because I only have a 7-day hang time. So it cools everything down way faster, lets everything relax a little bit more. Exactly.
7-day, yep.
And also, I got to carry everything in there. So the majority of the time, if it's 650 or under, I'll keep the hind quarter whole. But I break the chuck and shoulder off as one, so I break it at the 5th rib. And then the rib plate off, so the 7th. Or no, 12th, sorry. Math.
right. 7,
but
depends on what direction you're counting from. So I guess
exactly, and that's what I was doing. But yeah, so I'll break those off and then just carry the hind quarter in on its own. But we obviously weigh everything before it goes in the cooler, just because I need to know that hang weight for the customers and this, that, and the other. So we have a winch that hangs in the middle of the cut room that we're able to work with. So, absolutely. And then, so our walk-in is 8 feet tall, and we've just got that black pipe up there supported. And I'll be honest, we built this thing pretty rugged, and I'm super happy with it. I've had
throw it up there, and we'll make the official thing later, and it's worked, so it stays.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Because everybody starts out with, they're like, we're going to have a rail system. It's going to be all stainless steel and trolleys. And then it's time for beef. And I don't want to spend 10 grand. So let's figure it out,
Yeah, pretty much.
I've seen it work great. And I've seen it not work great. And I've seen the things that work great for sure. And I usually try to give people some advice on that. I mean, dude, the weightlifting bars.
Oh, yeah.
I had some folks that had some really heavy duty stainless steel shelves that were already in a walk-in cooler. They had bought a surplus walk-in cooler from old school, had it running for their barbecue shit, decided they were going to do a beef for themselves. It's like, we're just going to slide all the quarters on this bar and we'll just hang it up in there, let it go across between the racks. I'm like, it should work. Yeah, 6 hours later, he's calling me up and he's like, it's all on the ground. Like, what happened? The bar bent in the middle.
Yeah.
So you got to make sure what you're putting up there is actually going to work. We built something later on with timber framing and put some eyelet loops in it. That worked
perfect.
Well.
Yeah. No, I've seen so many different creative ways to do it, and if you can do it, do it. Like,
I've got one customer. They've got their own little private thing set up with. They've got an old IBC. It's not IBC. It's one of the freight containers, but it was one of the insulated ones. So
nice.
Refrigerated. The unit was dead, but they just sectioned off the back end, put in a cool bot. It's worked out great for them. And what they did to hang them was they'd done a bunch of metalworking, so they always have scrap around. They had some of that smaller, like lightweight I-beam.
Yeah.
One all the way down the middle for like a rail system, and they've just got the trolleys that hang on the I-beam for fucking Harbor Freight.
Oh, yeah.
Those to slide all the way down, so we can just run it off the tractor and just slide it in. But in the hanging place, they actually put in the back of the cooler. They sat down a one of those little swivel motor hoists, so we could have a spot on each side of the cooler. So we pop it off of there, jack it up, and move it over. And they had pieces of I-beam they put on the roof, drilled holes up, and ran it through so you have the eyelet hooks hanging.
Perfect.
So it's perfect. You've got 4 spots on each side. Stainless steel hook sits right up in it, and you've got a freaking mechanical arm to take it on and off of hooks as you go.
Yeah, I think I'm probably going to end up buying one of those at some point, just to be able to move things in and out.
Was it you? No, I think it was somebody else. I saw a picture of in a Facebook butchering group where they were working in their shop, and they had one of those on dolly wheels.
I commented on that one.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't even realize you were in that group. Shit. Yeah. But so they were just moving it. They had a quarter in there and they were breaking it down. I'm like, that's fucking genius.
Oh, it was perfect.
That's right set up. That's perfect.
Right.
As long as you got a smooth floor to roll it on, don't drop a zip tie in front of it though, or you're gonna hate yourself. But
absolutely, it will never go over it. Never.
With beef, anything you can do to save your back is amazing.
And that's it too.
Now, when you're with pork or lamb or something like that, then this is all pretty much irrelevant. It's way simpler, but
Oh, and you start to understand the different ways to carry everything and how it needs to be placed on your body.
You don't understand what the term dead weight means until you have tried to lift a quarter by yourself. At that point,
we did a beef. The hang weight was 946.
Oh,
broke that thing into eighths.
Yeah, with that rail for sure.
The hind quarter with the sirloin was 150 pounds each, and carrying those in, a
lot. And you can have two burly guys, and they're struggling. Because I've had guys I've had help me out. They're like, they'll bring in all their kids. They've got some guy. He's 6'5", 300 pounds. He's a black belt and everything like that. 2 seconds till he drops a quarter in the mud.
Oh, it is.
Because you don't know how to carry it. And here my fucking scrawny 185 pound ass is picking it up and moving it because I've done it so many times.
Right. You understand the placement and how to hold it.
It's how
I tell everyone who helps me my guilty pleasure is, I apologize to them. I'm like, my guilty pleasure is having people help me and watch them panic running the hook. Like, because usually how I do it, if I have someone helping, is I'll have them take the hook wherever it is and like just guide it. Like, I'm going here, so bring me here. Then I'm going here, so bring me here. Don't take any of the weight. Just guide it.
And you
I
got
don't have
it
to
on
deal
your
with it.
thighs with the apron on, and you're holding all that weight, and you just go, just hook it, just hang it.
Right.
But
The panic that happens, because I know the
Oh, yeah.
panic of a person trying to get a hook onto another hook or a hook onto a bar, because they're like, oh my God, I have to get all this weight off. And
He's going to die. He's going to break a leg.
You're just standing there holding it. So I have to sit there and go, calm down. It's okay. Slow down. Not that one. That one.
Oh,
nope.
There you go.
Nope. That one fell on the ground. So now you got to go get another one. I'll be right here. You go get a hook and put it up. It is my absolute guilty pleasure, and it's so funny.
If they're panicked like that, you just got to sit there calm and enjoy it, and they're wondering what the fuck's wrong with you. But if they're just like spacing off and they're looking at their phone or some shit and they're supposed to be helping with you, that's when you start acting like you're struggling. And you're like, oh my God, you need to get that thing hooked now. I'm going to die.
No, that's when I was turning into like an angry stepdad. And I'm like, hey,
what are you doing?
Get together. What are you doing?
Old Scrambler down here. He says 150 pounds. That's a sack of coffee because he roasts coffee. So
right.
A 150-pound sack of coffee is nothing to fucking sneeze at.
Oh, absolutely not.
Now imagine a 150-pound sack of coffee is shaped really fucking weird and it's super fucking slippery.
Yeah. Oh, it's awful.
Covered in fucking beef fat.
Get hooks. That is the biggest thing. Get meat hooks. You can't do it without it.
I'd say when it comes to breaking down beef like that, for me, it depends on the situation that I'm in, because sometimes I'll end up helping people at their house and dealing with what they've got on hand, making sure I'll make sure ahead of time we've got what we need to get the shit done. But sometimes it gets hairy. Depends on how are we cooling it. Some people don't have a walk-in cooler. No. Some people are using multiple chest freezers with regulators or multiple old refrigerators in their garage. And, if that's the case, I'm doing a heavy breakdown at that point. But I do for people at home, it depends on what your goals are. If you have a cooler and you're set up for it and you want to hang quarters or eighths of beef and you want to age it out traditional wise and go through the process of taking that out, breaking that chuck, breaking the ribs, learning how it all is done traditionally the right way. Great. That's awesome. Set up from the get-go. Let me know. I'll come teach you. But if you're kind of just figuring this out, and I have a couple of people I work with that every year or two they do one. I've got one I need to call back right now, actually. Ben, I will call you. I've just been slammed this week. Anyway, but for them, we've got everything as far as heavy equipment around. You've got like a skid loader or a tractor. You're hanging that thing up. You've got it all ready to go. But once I've got that thing hung up, I may or may not even split it because I know what's going to happen. I'm breaking this thing down to primals hot. Oh, those are laying down, as clean as we can. We'll have slabs of ribs and stuff like that, but I'm breaking that ribeye off whole. I'm breaking off in whatever section I can fit on a refrigerator shelf. Things like that. And I will say, if you do that, be sure that when you pack that refrigerator full of meat, everything's got good airflow around it. If you have wire racks, that is so much better. Try not to leave anything sitting on a flat surface. Don't pile your stuff up because it needs to chill down.
Exactly.
Fill that thing up. Yeah, have a thermometer so you can monitor that internal temperature and leave that door cracked for a few hours until that thing gets down to at least 50 degrees. If you shut that thing up and seal up a refrigerator or a freezer, and that is above 45, 50 degrees, your meat's going to spoil before that compressor.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
It's totally doable. If you got a clean area and there's not a bunch of dust in like a garage or some shit, put a fan in there to help circulate and move that hot air out. That makes a big difference. But you've got to cool that stuff down quickly, which is why I'll break it down into such small sections. Because like you said, when you're doing eighths, it will cool much faster that way.
Right. And that's what's nice up here is half the year. Mm-hmm. Like I probably hung.
It's already near chilled by the time you get that thing inside.
It is. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. And you can't wait to get that thing up and hung to start gutting it because your hands can warm up. You feel like Star Wars, you're crawling inside the body of that tauntaun.
Absolutely.
It's just you're just thank God.
Oh, there were a couple slaughters this year. Actually, the customer I just had, his cow that I did in like February, but it was like 9 degrees. And he offered to stay and I'm like, perfect. That'd be great.
Oh, that's great.
I don't want to sound like a jerk, but your job is to literally spray the hose every 5 minutes so it doesn't freeze. Like, that's your job, unfortunately.
I hear over spraying the hose, and he's got his hands like warming them over the gut pile.
Right. No, exactly. It's like, it is so goddamn cold.
Ridiculous. Yeah, I don't miss that one bit. It's nice from the angle of chilling a carcass.
Right.
It buys you a lot of time. But
I complain about it a lot. I could never live anywhere else. I'm at the, like, this time of year, I'm like, I'm done with it. Get it out of here. But I enjoy December, January, February of just being cold. I love it. It's more work, but I don't know.
I grew up in kind of similar climate, and I just acclimated to this down here. I love it so much more. I hate dealing with snow. I hate the mud after the snow. I hate being fucking cold. I just don't like
absolutely.
it, you know. But hey, it is what it is. I tell you what, though, it is a lot more challenging when you're dealing with that. That's the other thing. A lot of times down here, because I will turn off any kind of helping people with beef and stuff like that. I won't do it during deer season. I'm just too busy. I can't take time away from all this pile of shit that I have. Hell, I should be working on sausage right fucking now. But, you know, it is what it is. So a lot of the shit that happens in the 9 to 10 months of summer we have in Texas, that's when my outdoor butchery work happens. So you got to learn to be quick. You got to learn to be
super quick,
it down fast, and you got to take care of it. So
it's a luxury.
In the cooler, you know, when it's from the time I pull the trigger till I've got that thing hanging in the cooler is an hour. That's great.
Yeah,
love that.
Oh, absolutely. That's what you shoot for.
Where I have to break something down, and it's a lot of knife work or whatnot. If I can have all that meat set and ready to go, and I'm cleaning up after the kill, and I've only been on site for 2.5 hours, I'm having a good day.
That's a real good day. Absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah. As far as the actual, what do you say would be the biggest tip you could give somebody once they get to that point of breaking it down and sectioning it out? What's like the hairiest thing you can get into, or the one thing that you could like tell somebody that's going to save them a whole headache?
My new thing, which has been awesome, is I've been buying like the heavy duty paracord, like the super cheap stuff.
Yeah.
And I'll run that through the ribs. I don't bother hooking the meat straight to the hook that's going to be hanging.
Okay.
I'll attach it right into the middle of the rib section, decent sized loop, and that way, like, I don't have to lift the chuck up and over something.
That makes sense. Yeah.
It is an absolute game changer.
It was a pain in the ass because of the situation we were in. They had an old ice cream truck trailer. Somebody converted it into a cooler, which was awesome. But the only way we could hang anything was they had some nylon rope, and I'd have to go in and I'd be holding up a quarter.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, tie the rope. He's literally got to tie it up there. But it sucked because that thing was only 5.5 foot tall, and I'm 6'2".
Right.
So I hit my head so many times on that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. Every time.
No, that sucks.
There's nothing worse than having to carry a 150-pound quarter of beef and duck.
Oh, it's the worst. It's the absolute worst. I'm 6'4". So it's like, I can't. Like, I literally can't. If you would like me to continue holding this, like, figure it out.
So that's another thing. And I say the same thing when it comes, I've had to learn this the hard way when it comes to, like, chicken coops and shit, too. Everything's made, like, at 6 foot tall. If you're building a cooler infrastructure on your place or whatnot, if you are not a short person, build shit so you can stand up and walk.
Yes.
And have clearance on your fucking head. You know,
it's awful.
Don't make your life harder than it has to be. You know,
right?
If it saves you, or if it costs you another $1,000 fucking dollars, I promise you, about the 5th time you hit your head, your wallet's gonna feel a whole lot more full right now than it did.
Yeah.
When you're looking at that bill.
Absolutely. But yeah, no. So that's just a little quick tip. That's nice. And again, it's fairly simple. You cut it the fit, to break the chuck off whole as I do. You cut it the 5th rib, cut all the way through. You're usually cutting straight through the cartilage of the shoulder blade. Mm-hmm. If you're not, you probably cut a little too far down.
Probably.
And then I'll usually just sawzall one side.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm doing it alone, I'll put my knee, I'll have it squatted down, so I'll have the neck, basically where the neck and the arm meet, sitting on my knee, sawzall the other half, one-handed, while having a hook in the blade. Right. And that way, so when it does fall, it's not falling everywhere. It's falling straight onto my knee. I have the time to put down the sawzall, get the other hook in, grab under the arm.
That's why I love
the reciprocating
saws.
Yeah, they're great.
I can be doing that. And I have one hand. And it's like a big ass fucking electric fillet knife.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can absolutely understand how that's a game changer.
I love
Because,
how-
like I said, I'm holding a full length Sawzall.
Trying to do a whole regular full size Sawzall one handed. Yeah, it's a bitch. And if
It's
you
tough.
flip, you're either gonna fuck something up or you're gonna fuck up yourself in the process. Yeah.
So, yeah, it helps to have a buddy. So
It really does. If I've got somebody there helping me, their job is okay. I've got the hook up in the ribs. You hold the hook while I break this chuck.
Right.
Just be ready for that weight because it's going to weigh more than you think, and then it drops, and they're like, "Oh God,"
But that's what's been.
But yeah, obviously, if you've got that, you're hanging upside down. So for people who don't know and can't visualize, obviously you've split this beef and you're breaking it up into sections. Always remember you're working from the bottom up. Because if you try to break that quarter, well, now you've got a whole quarter laying on the fucking ground. So you've the chuck section, if people don't realize or they don't know, that forearm, that forward section past that shoulder blade, before you get to that middle rib section where you've got your rib eyes, your plate ribs and shit, you're breaking it from right across that shoulder blade, basically. I think it's what, counting 5 ribs up from basically the neck.
Yeah.
Out right where you're breaking it. So you try to do as much knife work as you can to get a good clean cut, but you're probably going to have to go through that spine with a saw.
Yes.
Sometimes you can get it just right with a knife, but don't count.
I would. Yeah.
It's about every one out of
so much easier.
Time, I don't need to use the saw. I just hit it right. I feel like a total badass when it happens.
Oh, it's so nice.
It's
usually on the rib. Taking the rib off, I can usually hit that pretty well. I haven't had the opportunity to lately, just because it's like I'm just running and gunning. It's like, all right, easier. Like,
right. But that said, that's reciprocating saw, best thing ever, because fuck using hands.
Right. Oh, absolutely. But that's what's nice about the rope, is putting the rope in. Trying to like single-handedly hook to hook is just.
Now that's where I see one of those little portable engine hoists on a dolly being fucking awesome by yourself.
Absolutely.
Because you can pre-hook that and have it ready to go. So once you break it off, you already got a buddy there catching it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
That's a great idea. I need to invest in one of those. I don't think I can haul it in the car here, but
probably not.
But that's you learn those things, and if you're doing this yourself, you're going to have to figure out either with what you have on hand, maybe you have all this shit around, or what things you need to invest in. And maybe you don't need it now, but certain things are going to make your life a whole lot easier if you want to do this more than one time.
Right. No, these are the things you learn.
Do you quarter pigs, or do you split them?
I split them. I just split them.
Typically, I do.
Yeah.
It has to be a pretty big pig for me to quarter it.
Yeah, I have a boar coming in Thursday that I'm not too excited about, but I don't know how big it is. They're like, "Oh, he's a big boy," and I'm like, "What is it?" It's like, "Oh, it's American guinea hog." I'm like,
"Oh, then he's not that big."
Oh, he's not that big. So, do you mean he's fat?
They're like huge, and then it's not that big as like the fucking 800-pound monster. So
Right. Yeah. But.
Yeah, that's one thing I learned really quick when I was dealing with customers a lot when I was working at a shop and people were bringing us shit. Never take a customer's word for how big an animal is, because they don't have a fucking clue. Unless they really have a scale and they walked it across and they give me an exact number, they don't have a clue.
No.
Send me a picture, because I can eyeball weigh that thing better than you can. I promise.
I don't take customers now unless I have a picture with perspective. Right. Don't send me a picture of a cow in an open field. You do the 50 feet away.
For perspective, you do that internet meme of take a picture next to a banana.
Right.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
I know, right? But yeah. Let me actually see. Be like, okay, so how high is that fence behind it? Let me get an idea of how big it is. Yeah.
Because that's always the worst too. If you're going to somebody else's place, and they're like, "Oh, it's fine," and you get there and it's like, "What? You want me to kill a cow there and cut it up here?"
I don't charge people based on weight. I charge people based on the job. And if it's a big animal and it's questionable, I tell them, I want to come get eyes on it, and I want to give you a quote. I will literally come out and give you a fucking quote on what it's going to be for me to help you with this job, versus just throw something out by numbers, because that's a great way to end up in a shitstorm that you do not know. Because
I've absolutely charged people more and told them outright, it's like, I'm charging you for this because you didn't set me up for success in this, and that's why I was here for 6 hours. Like, the reason that this went bad is because of your setup. Like, you didn't, like, if you know I'm coming today, we talked yesterday, maybe bring the animal closer to the house. Maybe, like,
I have it out on 30 acres and I have to go play sniper, and then we get to go drag it back with a fucking truck before we can even start working.
exactly.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those things, it's like, this is your animal. Like,
Right.
when it comes down to it, the only personal connection I have to this animal is I'm getting paid because of it. Like,
Right.
obviously, I'm going to do a good job because it's my job, but you have the most to lose out of all of this. Like,
if it goes bad, well, this could go bad, and the harder you make it for me, the higher the likelihood. And if it's going to go bad, it's probably going to go bad right about the time I pull that trigger.
right. Because it's like, you're hiring me for the best case scenario of this happening. So help me.
Yeah, exactly. And when it's one of those, I don't want it to go bad. Nobody wants it to go bad. I'm not planning on it going bad. But if it does go bad, it goes really fucking bad.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Really fucking hard. And it's not just going to be hard for me. Your life's going to suck too. And you're going to have to clean up my mess. So, yeah, let's make this easy. And you kind of get, you get two camps of customers when it comes to the ones who get it. And they want to be involved and they want to learn and they're excited. And you get the ones that are like, I hired you to come out here. I mean, it's your problem.
Right.
Great. That's fine. It's my problem. That's great.
I like them both for different reasons.
This will be my last time here too, you know. I will have next time you call me, I will be booked type thing, you know.
Right.
So yep.
Those are the ones where it's like, because I have the setup here, which is nice. I'm actually mostly at this point doing everything here, which has been awesome.
It's exactly. I try to get everybody who hunts close to bring their deer ungutted to me. Be like, as soon as you drop it, call me, make sure I'm there, and just bring it. I will do it. Because I will do it better than you, and I'm not insulting you, but there's no way you can keep it as clean out in the field as I can when I skin it and gut it. Like, it's just not possible.
No, I have probably 2 or 3 people a year go, oh, if I slaughter it, can I bring it to you? I'm like, no. Like, I'm not getting blamed for your screw-ups.
I have multiple people that I've done multiple jobs worked with them several times, and you know, they're like, well, I really don't want to pay you to come out and do the slaughter side. Can you just come do the butcher? I know a guy, he does pretty good. He's a really good hunter. Not a chance in hell that I will come down there and help you break down your beef that some random dude that you know killed and chilled for you.
I'd rather have all of the, like, stress of it. All of it.
It's not even about, like, I'm getting paid half on this. It's that I know if I walk into that situation and I know how I broke it down. I have done this a million times. I know exactly what's going into it. I know how it needs to be broken down to get the cuts that you're looking for out of it.
This guy doesn't.
Fucks it up. You're not going to be happy. I'm not going to be happy. I'm going to get paid half of what I should.
Right.
Even if it's half the work, it's going to be just as much work, if not more.
Oh, it's going to be more.
We're all going to be miserable.
Right.
You know, there's no way this ends well. So I'm just like, flat out, no. Either you hire me for the full job or I don't do it. I don't.
And in the end, it's like, because I only charge $150 for slaughter, and it's like, when it comes down to it, it's like, it's $150 for, again, this being the best case scenario for your animal, like, besides getting into like a USDA facility or something like that.
On an average beef, when I was doing the mobile side, and then I've kind of stuck with similar when I'm doing if I'm coming to you and processing and helping you learn with me.
Right.
I'll quote them for the whole job, depending on the size of the animal. Usually beef, I'm right at about 600 for the full. And I'll be like, look, we're just going to make it easy. We'll do half on slaughter day, half on processing day. So I'll quote you $600. All right. I'm going to come in. We're going to kill it, chill it, get it set up. We're going to walk through. We're going to have everything. You're going to be responsible for this meat, you know, but I'm walking out of there $300. And then when I come back, you know what? I'm going to be here for 5 times longer that day. And everything like that. You're going to be there, asses and elbows, cutting with me, packaging, working, learning from me, and it's going to be a full fucking thing. But the remaining money is coming back around to me that day. I'm not going to come in and just let you have somebody do the kill part, and $300 I spend the whole fucking day hauling my fucking equipment in, wiping it down, up, teaching you how to do this shit. Even if you're there fucking working with me doing 50% of the work, it is not worth it for what I have to go through.
No, not at all.
Break my shit down, pack it back up, get out of there probably 9 o'clock at fucking night. Still have to haul it all back and clean and sanitize it. Fuck
Absolutely.
that. You know, it's not worth it, and the whole experience is going to be horrible for everybody involved. You know,
Right. And I've had a couple moments with customers,
but it's like, has your guy worked before in a processing plant? Has he actually broken down beef? Does he know? Has he done it in somebody's backyard with a fucking freezer with a regulator on it to hold that temp? Does he have a clue about what I'm doing? You were there for it one time. You think you know, but do you?
Usually the people that do that, they usually end up hiring me to slaughter it. Yeah. And I usually tell those people, why don't you stay? Yep. Like, why don't you go ahead and stay and watch?
And learn.
And about halfway through the process, they go, oh, yeah, no.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, $150. Okay.
The first year or two that I was doing this stuff, where I was actually just out there just going and processing for people because I hadn't to deal with the whole legal bullshit yet. I had multiple people hired me not to learn. Well, not me offering it as a teaching service, but they hired me with the idea of they wanted to learn from me. And halfway through the process of breaking it down, they've got the whole family involved in the process. They've got, dad packaging, they've got sister over there doing whatever, they've got their brother running the grinder, and they're sitting there trying to learn the cuts with me. And we just lost Kyle. Anyway, I'm sure he'll pop back on in a second. But yeah, so to continue that story, halfway through, and this has happened to me several times, they'll turn around and say, we hired you with the intention of learning everything about this from you and then never having you back, but you'll be back and you don't charge enough. It's a lot of fucking work. There's a lot to it. So sounds like a lot to pay $500-$600 to have a guy come out and work on you or work with you and try to teach you how to process beef. But if you've ever gone through the process and done the work and you value your time anywhere beyond minimum wage, no, it's fucking worth it. So, well, while we wait on Kyle to get his internet figured out here, hopefully he's able to come back. I'm going to bring a couple questions or comments up here. Scrambling, charge way more, throttle the assholes with price. Yes, that is true. Definitely. The inconvenient customer fees are a real thing. Thankfully, the people that I do repeat work for or are referred to me typically are awesome. I have some of the best fucking customers in the world, I swear. And it's usually a great experience for everybody involved. They're usually very hospitable. They're going to cook you lunch. They're going to hang out. They're going to bullshit. Half the time you sit there and crack a couple beers after everything's all done, sit around, shoot the shit, make some lifelong friends. I've got quite a few people around here that fall into that camp. So, if they're that much of a pain in the ass, usually you're not going to end up working with them again. And when you're busy enough, you're busy enough. Going back up here, up the line again with old scrambling fire ants. Yeah, fire ants, that's a big thing down here in Texas. Thankfully, not usually a big issue with slaughtering. You pick your spot. You make sure you're somewhere where you're not going to run into those things. Let's see here. If he parlays up beef someday, get an airline ticket, teach a class, that would be awesome. If I can make it work, as long as I don't have something else going on and I know far enough ahead of time, I have no problem. If you want to pay me to come out and travel, we'll make it work. We'll look at your region and make sure we don't advertise or do anything that would put anybody in hot water based on your location. I know Texas, and what doesn't fly. But yeah, no, I'm down for that, and I'm planning on it, but I've got to figure out the logistics. SRF, Self-Reliance Festival, I believe, coming up this fall. It is in the plans, in the works, that I will hopefully be doing some level of instructions or class or talk out there during the fall. So got to get all that lined up. I know we don't know exact dates or anything like that yet, but yeah, I'm missing the whole festival thing too. So I need to get out to one this year. Let's see, scrolling back up. I know Scrambling had said, that 900-pound cow sounds like a moose. It's very similar. The 900 pounds is a hanging weight, actually. That's after it's got the hide, the head, and the gut off. That's actually about 60% of the live weight. So you're looking at 1,700 pound animal. And but a moose, I've never done a moose. A large moose, from what I understand, it's just like trying to do a beef. But typically, unless you're in a very controlled situation, you probably don't have access to all the fun shit that I usually want to have around when I'm doing cattle, like a tractor, like a place to fucking hang it. So trying to do one of those on the ground, man, what a mess. Let's see here. It's not cow hunting, growing one. Yes, absolutely. I get what you're saying. It's more of the the logistics. So hey, here we go. And cut back, man. What happened?
Phone died.
Dropped in. That the black helicopters came by.
Yep, they heard. They saw the chat. I
Uh-oh.
apologize if the audio is a little screwy now. I had to plug my phone in.
This is a good one. Hey, Scramblin says that his ex-wife got drunk and started a fight with a moose. I can only imagine. Did the ex-wife win? I don't think.
I don't think anyone wins in that situation.
I know a little bit about the situation with his ex-wife, and I'm pretty sure she's still with us. So I don't think he means ex as in she's passed away. I think he means so. I mean, I guess she could run, huh? Oh,
Right.
Alaska Adventure, or she won. Oh, she won. Impressive.
Oh boy.
Did you have moose in your freezer?
I don't have any moose in my
Yeah,
freezer.
that's a good question. Could you tell which one was which, the ex-wife or the moose? That's
A couple of them.
animal would run. Yeah. So yeah, you should have figured that out. And about that point in time, you should have been cutting bait. I'm telling you right now.
Right.
Oh shit. Well, where were we? I was going off about my sit. Oh yeah, I was kind of filling everybody in on multiple times. Somebody's hired me with the idea of I'm processing for them.
Right.
And halfway through, they've got everybody involved. They'll look at me and they'll be like, "We're going to be honest with you. We hired you with the intention of watching you, learning how you do this, and then never having you back. But you'll be back next time."
Right.
Usually they follow that up with, and I've got this. I had to start raising prices because I had too many customers tell me I didn't charge enough.
Oh yeah, no, I had that too.
Charging typically more than what I would consider my competitors, which are, custom processors nearby, which granted, I'm offering a service, so I'm coming to you. So it's a little bit different, but I was trying to be fair. A lot of people I work with are just homesteaders, and I don't want to ream you out the ass. This is you're trying to learn how to do this, so I'm trying to be as fair with them as I can. Yeah.
No, I'm fairly average price.
Bringing it up, and I probably need to start charging more this year than I did last year too.
Right. No, and I should probably do the same. I'm fairly average price. It all kind of breaks down evenly, but it's like I have customers that just left the USDA facility I used to work at,
right?
And now I have all of their business going forward. So it's like, and they said to me, they're like, "You're as expensive without the USDA aspects, but it's worth it for us because we know you're gonna do the job we hire you for."
Got one guy that said you would have to reach the point where you were charging. He goes, "I'm going to tell you right now, to be honest, 10%, maybe 15% above your competitors, and before I started considering using somebody else."
Right.
So do with that information as you will. And I was like, "Oh, are you trying to guilt me, or what's the deal here, bud?"
Right.
But yeah, no, let me get a little bit light on here because there we go. I can see my face again. All right, cool. But yeah, it's weird, and the crazy thing is, you always feel a little bit guilty, like you're taking somebody for a ride when it comes to the pricing side of things, because we're in a position right now with the way processing is.
Oh yeah,
I can charge what I want to, and I can stay as busy as I want to be.
Absolutely.
But I don't want to screw people over, and we all know that. Now, I know I'm not, but it's hard to get out of that mindset too. You want to stay as fair as you can. You want to be competitive with everybody else. You don't have to be. If you do a good job, but at the same time, that's a big bill, and you're dealing with families, individual people. They're eating this. You're dealing directly with your customer.
Absolutely.
I'm not putting this stuff on a store shelf and Joe Blow's coming in doing whatever. This is people wanting to learn how to be self-sufficient and sustainable. So I do the best that I can to be affordable while still making it worth my time and effort to do it.
No, and that's the most important thing in the end of it is it's like, doesn't matter what you charge or whatever. It's like, this is going into someone's freezer. They spent years doing this.
Right. Yeah.
Do a good job.
Absolutely. So, and that's the other thing too. You pay for quality. And the thing about if I'm there and I'm processing and you're involved in the whole thing, there's never a question of, is that my meat? Did I get all my meat? Well, I mean, I don't have an ice chest with me. I didn't take anything with me. You know?
Exactly. And it's like,
So,
I have that written on my
eyes
cut
on it
sheets.
the whole time. Yeah.
Yeah, I have that written on my cut sheets. It's like the animal you bring in is the animal you take. I don't mix. I don't do any of that. I've worked in places that have, and it's like I remember doing it,
And
like
you've got a
in the
personal
process of doing it, going, this would piss me off so much
Oh,
if I
absolutely.
was.
It's the reason I don't work there now. It's the reason I started off doing what I'm
Right.
doing, because of exactly that kind of shit. Or seeing things that either they're not getting their own animal back, or the way it was handled. I'm just like, I wouldn't feed that to somebody's kids.
No,
Why would you? Kind of thing, you know?
no, and it's
So,
like we've had. I've seen
yeah.
it. I've seen it where it's like we cut up somebody's beautiful like trophy buck. Like it's absolutely incredible, beautiful meat, it's fantastic. And then after that, we cut some dude 3 teeth who took a little spike out of like a pine thicket. So it's just you open it up and it smells like an air freshener. And it's like, you're gonna mix that in with that?
No.
Like, what are you talking about? Like, and they're like, that's how we do it. Save time. And I'm like, all right.
How many times have you gotten the scented trash bag deer?
Huh?
Have you gotten the scented trash bag deer?
Oh yeah, I don't. This was the first year I'm like, if it's scun, I'm not taking.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, that's always fun, having the deer show up and you open up their ice chest and immediately you're like, is that lilac? What the hell is that?
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you get these people that they've got down here. People kind of have to put their quarters on ice. You know, sometimes they're in that situation. You're out hunting in Texas, it's still hot. You got to ice your shit down. So, in their well-meaning attempt to keep their meat from getting waterlogged, they figure throwing it in a trash bag is going to help. Typically, the trash bag just fills up with ice water. They're not waterproof people. How many times have you taken the trash out and there's shit leaking out the bottom?
Exactly.
You know. Anyway, they're out there in the field. They've got this stuff done. They've got that hind quarter. They throw it in the trash bag. Nobody's thinking about that. You grab the trash bags from your house, and your wife bought lilac-scented Glad bags.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Now you got fucking whatever the hell chemically lilac-scented Glad or Hefty put in that bag, soaked, marinated in your meat for the week and a half that you had it on ice before you brought it to me.
Oh,
and
yeah, that's
just
awful.
That guy's getting his own meat back for sure.
No, absolutely. And it's like I said,
shit.
I've gotten to the point now where I only do deer for 2 weeks out of the year just because I'm so busy on the other side that it's like I can't. Like, I do it almost as a vacation so I can hunt. But it's I'm also at the point.
I miss hunting, I'm gonna be honest. But at the same time, I like the value added side of it a lot. I get to be creative with the cooking side of it. I get the sausage side of it.
That's fun.
I get to play. I enjoy that. It gets old though. After 3-4 months of doing it gets old a lot. You're just ready to go do something else. But at the same time, it's a ton of work. But I also make a lot more money doing that than I do going out and working my ass off breaking down beef. So it's the balance thing, you know?
No, exactly. But it's at this point, if you bring me a scun out deer, I won't take it. Like, I'm not going to waste. I'm not like, it's not worth it.
My next season video.
Lilac.
Awesome. I should do a whole video on how to season with the trash bag. Lilac marinated. I should have put that on its fucking labels. No, thankfully, I haven't had one of those come in to me personally. Most of my customers at least have somewhat of a brain, and if they don't, I will educate them quickly because I'm doing the process. Now, when you worked at a place where we're going through 4,000 deer in a year, we've got 2 or 3 guys that are cutting. We've got a dedicated grinder guy. We've got a dedicated stuffer guy. We've got kids that do vacuum sealing. We got a guy that runs the front door. You know, that kind of shit. Whoever was checking that animal in fucked up, but they don't know.
Oh yeah,
they're not the cutter. They don't know. So this shit finally makes it around to me. I'm on my fucking 35th deer I'm cutting today, and you open that ice chest up, and it's just like, but you know what? That's the shit that you remember. That's
absolutely.
The memories. Oh my.
No, the longer I do this, the more I am very quick to charge. Like, especially on deer. I had a guy this year that left probably 8 inches of intestine attached to the butt still in it, bladder still in it. and I was already pissed, so I
Nice.
just
So
did whatever. Finished cleaning it up, scanned out into the cooler. Well, the next day I pull it out and go to process it. I go to split the shoulder off. Lungs and heart, esophagus, everything's still in it. I wasn't paying attention and just rolled right through it. And I'm like, you need
So what? Stomach, liver, and half the intestines is all he took out.
Yeah, that was it.
Nice.
And
Nice.
the diaphragm. Honestly, I was mad
Why
at
would
myself.
you
I
break
don't
the
know how I
diaphragm
didn't
and
see
leave
it.
the lungs?
Huh? I don't know.
Why
I don't
would you take the
understand.
diaphragm and not take the lungs out while you're in there? What the hell?
No, and I gave him a $15 charge on both, because it, like, on both occasions, skinning, I had to clean piss and shit up like from everywhere, and then breakdown.
But I've had guys I've worked with that you get people, they bring quartered deer, and the deer is so fucking dirty that you literally just have to like shave and skim the outside of the meat off across the whole thing. I know you've seen it and dealt with it too.
Oh yeah.
And the guy who's running the place is sitting there cutting next to me, and he is just bitching, and he's all like, add a skinning fee to this fucking deer. And somebody's like, this came in quartered. You know, he's like, I don't care. I still had to skin every fucking quarter again, add a fucking skinning fee to this guy's order because I had to skin the outside of his meat. Like,
absolutely.
I'm just over here like silently cheering as I'm like scraping fucking hair and shit off of this thing.
No,
you know?
It's the worst.
It's sad because, okay, I'm sure you guys have to deal with this too. Before you can get a hunting license, if you were born after like 83 or some shit like that, you've got to take a hunter safety course, right?
Right.
And they teach you shit like how to not shoot your foot off, how to not shoot your buddy when you're walking in the woods. This is what animal tracks look like. Hey, here's what deer poop looks like. Here is how you properly tag your deer. Why the fuck is how you gut that deer, deal with it, and if you are going to have to quarter it and break it down, why is that not part of that class? Why are we not educating?
It should be at least a video. Like, it should be at least the video.
If you get caught with meat that is fucked up like that in a waste, and a game warden catches you, they can ticket you for wanton waste. They
Absolutely.
can ticket you for basically poaching a deer that has to get thrown away. Why don't we teach people how not to? Because we're assuming that people who are hunting and have no background at all in food service have a clue how to handle it.
Yeah.
We're talking about people who probably wash their fucking chicken breasts in the sink. If you're watching this show and you do that, please stop. But because I know somebody who's going to watch this is going to be like, I wash all my chicken. But anyway, if you have not had a background in food service in some way, and you weren't taught by somebody who understands how to do the process right, please reach out to somebody or find somebody who knows what the fuck they're doing and have them help you work on a deer. Even if you think you're doing it right, you're probably not. Or ask your processor. Every year I say, I just want to buy a bunch of goats and do a workshop with like 10, 15 people. You're going to come here and learn to skin, and we're going to have a how to not piss off your processor workshop. And you can take the goat home with you.
And that's exactly what you should call it. That's exactly what you should call it, because that's what it is. It's like, every year for 50 weeks out of the year, I say, anyone can do this. Anyone can learn how to do this and figure it out and be able to provide for themselves. And like, it's out there. I know you can do it. And then for 2 weeks out of the year,
you bitch about how nobody should be able to do this unless they have a background.
Absolutely. I eat so much crow. I'm just like, oh my God, no one can do this. I'm proven wrong every year.
Everybody can, but not everybody takes the time or has like the mental clarity to realize they should learn how to do it right. And I ask this question all the time. I've actually asked customers point blank to their face, kind of pissed them off, but they could tell I was serious.
Right.
Do you understand that from the time that you pull that trigger, you are handling your fucking food? You are going to eat. This goes in your mouth. You feed this to your family. Would you go pick up, if you went to the store and you bought a fucking ribeye, and you came home and you accidentally dropped it in a pile of shit, would you pick it up and wash it off and then cook it? No, you'd probably get really mad and you'd get really fussy about it and you'd throw it away and you'd look at what you paid for that ribeye and you'd hate yourself, right?
Right. Yeah. Same thing.
So when you take your deer and you put it in a fucking ice chest and it's got deer shit floating in ice water and you think you're leaching the gamey taste out of it and you soak it in that ice water for 2 fucking weeks before you bring it to me. All you've done is make a coli marinade. They don't do anything wrong with it because Daddy did that, Grandpappy did it that way,
Right.
and that's how I was taught. It's the right way. Why
That's
is
my favorite time of year on
different than beef?
Right.
It's not.
It's my favorite time of year on the deer processing pages is the battle between hang it or put it in a cooler. Oh, it warms my heart. People just freaking out about it. And I'm like, I don't know.
I'm assuming he means pig, but he attended a pig class, 6 hours hands-on, and feels safe doing the next one without help. Or he wouldn't. I think he wouldn't feel safe without help. Too much. There's too much info too fast. You're right. That's the thing. If you a large animal like that, it probably takes more than one time to really get the gist of it and learn how to do it. You might learn how to safely do it. If you take away one thing, if you get the experience of getting to work with somebody and you don't have any background into it on processing an animal, focus on learning how to handle things properly and be food safe with it and the basic important shit like that, and then learn the rest the next time. You're not going to learn it all in one go for sure. If you don't understand how to cut a center cut pork chop or where it comes from, that's okay. You're still going to have a bunch of pork you can eat.
Right.
If you spaced on how to not spill the bladder all over that meat, you're going to be miserable when you try to do it on your own and not understand why you fucked it up.
Right.
You're probably going to get frustrated and you're probably going to never do it again.
Yeah. No, that's it. I mean,
and you see a lot of guys that do that too. People who just are completely turned off. I know you have these guys too. They don't like the taste of deer meat.
Yeah.
Nobody in my family likes it. Because one time when they were a kid, somebody went out and shot a deer, fucked it up. It's half rotten meat, tastes horrible, and it turned them off their experience their whole rest of their life. And then somebody gives them something that I processed, and suddenly they're showing up with a deer going, I don't know what you did, but I liked the deer you processed. And I'm like, well,
I've had so many texts from people going, my wife has never eaten deer and said she would never eat deer. And she ate your deer and said it was amazing. Or like same thing. It's like, oh, we had it once and it was really bad. It's like blah, blah. But then they tried your deer that you cut up and they loved it.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, because I do this for a living. Like,
well, it's probably because Jim Bob kept it on. He strapped it to the hood of his truck and drove 2 hours home with it sitting on top of the hot motor. Stopped at the beer joint on the way home. Dropped it off at the processor. Maybe he remembered to gut it. Maybe didn't. Or maybe he did it out in the field and ended up dropping it in the dirt, and it sat on there and tasted like shit. Because you can't wash that off. Once something's on meat, you can't just wash it away. You got to trim it off. And if it's sat in a liquid that's contaminated, guess what? Meat absorbs stuff. That's what a marinade does. That's how it works. And if you have nasty things you don't want to eat in that liquid, it's going to end up in your food.
Right.
You wouldn't
exactly.
think you're going to fucking wash the piss out.
No, because you're not. You're not. I promise you, you're not.
It now. It's incorporated. It's the same thing. It's in there.
Absolutely.
Oh,
here's a question. How many times when you cut the head off, do you use a saw or do you use a knife? Just break the axle. Or
in there with the knife, you just pop it right there at the. Yep, absolutely.
How many times have you taken that spinal fluid to the chops? Because you're all squatted down, going.
And right in the face. Yep, it's happened.
Oh, so many times.
I'd like to say.
And you just gotta spit and just continue on with life. Because guess what? It's not going to be the last time it happens today.
Learn to breathe through your nose. Keep your mouth shut while you're doing that shit. What's even worse was the one time that I had a really full fucking steer, bloated up and whatnot. Just nicked it just right, and all that stomach contents right in the face. Mouth a little bit. Talking to the guy next to me at the time. Took me like a week to get the taste of bile out of my mouth.
It's rough. That's a rough one.
There's enough in the world to wash that flavor away. Shit. Well, we've gone about an hour and a half. I've still got to get this uploaded before they kick me out of the park. So I think we probably ought to wrap it up. You got? I'm sure you'll be back. You got anything to wrap up with? Anything new that you're working on? Do you have any kind of social media places you want to send people other than your Facebook? And I know I've got that tagged in the show notes.
Yeah, no, it's pretty much just my Facebook right now. Right now, we're just kind of chugging along, getting stuff done. I try to post as much as I can on the shop page.
Yep.
I've been posting a lot more on the farm page recently because we're getting into spring and we're ramping things up. We've been running around like crazy, getting new animals and everything. So it's been kind of nuts. So probably there's going to be a lot more traction on the farm page, just because when I'm in the shop, it's purely business trying to get everything out while I can.
You'll have to send that to me if you think about it, because I don't.
Oh, I will.
I haven't been on the farm page. I found the body shop, but I don't know if I follow you on the farm. So.
Oh yeah, no, I'll share that one for just if anyone's listening. It's at the Ranch BP. Okay. Yeah, the Ranch Beef Pork. So the quick link is at the Ranch BP.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
So
I'll try to remember to add that into the notes here too as we wrap up. Did I hear you teasing a little bit of an idea of like you may eventually do a podcast or something yourself?
I would love to do a YouTube channel at some point. That's kind of my goal with it. But I also know that the videos that I want to make are just going to get completely demonetized because they don't like.
Here's the deal: you can't even monetize until you have at least 1,000 followers. So that's a long road.
No, I know that.
Monetized on YouTube yet, so it's not a big deal. You can do a lot of stuff. I have no doubt that a lot of my content will probably never be monetized. So and I'll tell you what, right now, to get to that point, you're gonna have to make a lot of content that's probably not blood and gore, and all that stuff can actually be monetized. It'll just be some videos. So.
No, absolutely. And like I said, I would love to do like a shop and farm page to be able to like show everything, because it's like for the people that are in the Telegram group, I'm running around constantly. Like you're never getting the same picture of something usually.
Yep.
And just because we've got a lot going on here and we've got a lot of cool new stuff that's hopefully happening and should be happening here soon. And so just a lot more running around like crazy.
Brian down there, who's in my group, Brian from the Lots Project, him and his wife, they started granted, they didn't do a ton because they were on dial-up internet for a long time, but they started back when they had their homestead, they started their YouTube channel, which was a combination of her projects, his projects, the homestead, and now their project while they're doing stuff on the road. They've had that shit up for like 9 years, and they just got monetized this year.
That's crazy.
It took them a long time, but they had about 7-8 years of not really doing a ton of consistent content. So they really ratcheted down on it this last year, but it took a concerted effort and like a huge community thing of like getting them built to that point to where they can, and they just now topped over it. I've had this channel going for a little over 10 months now, and I've just topped 300 followers on YouTube, and so I'm a third of the way to getting monetized. But
yeah, I've gotten closer. The cameras are out and charging. I still need to buy SD cards.
It's better to make the content and put it out than to try to put out the perfect content, because if you wait till it's all perfect, you'll never do it. I'm the captain.
No, absolutely.
You'll never get it done because it's not perfect enough yet. So you just got to go out and do it, and you'll figure it out. You'll get better at it as you go. If you go back and listen to episodes of my podcast, hot dog shit, man. I mean, it's not much better now, but it's a lot better than it was.
I'll admit, first couple episodes were rough. I went all the way to the beginning, and I'm like, I'm gonna
listen to it all. Yeah,
I'm gonna jump forward. I'm gonna jump forward a little bit.
I don't blame you. But well, hey, that's a true fan right there.
Oh yeah, no, I tried. I went. I listened to pretty much every single one, but
that's super cool how you ended up pulled into it. I think you're not the first one, but you're the first butcher that's actually ever ended up as part of the community and on the show because they started listening to the podcast. It usually people find me either through the community that I'm connected to, like on Telegram or wherever else, or somebody else that they know somebody kind of thing, or they found me on YouTube and then found their way. Oh, he has a podcast too. So it's pretty cool to see different angles of stuff I'm doing actually bringing people in. I have who is it? He's on the Telegram group quite a bit. I'm trying to remember. It's Raven Blades or whatnot. Guy found me on TikTok. Yeah. And a TikTok follower. I'm like, okay, so that's why I keep doing all the different things in so many places,
because you never know where somebody's going to find you. You've got to get as many eyes on it, because I figure, probably 0.5% of people who see my shit are ever going to be interested enough to follow. So the more people you can put it out in front of, the more likely you're going to find the right people who actually want to learn your shit. So, but anyway,
yeah, no, I was excited to find it.
That forever, but we're going to wrap this thing up. I'll catch up with you here later on. I'm sure I'll talk to you over in Telegram. I'm going to end this thing and tell everybody have a good night. I'm just going to
sounds like a plan, buddy.
We're going to catch you guys all in the morning. Be sure to go like and subscribe and follow all that shit. Go follow Kyle over there on Facebook as well, and both of his Facebook pages. And we'll catch you in the morning for that Telegram and TikTok questions. All right. Holler at you all later. Have a good night. I appreciate it.